Hello everybody. We are here at Bird Fair, the biggest bird watching event of the year, and I would say in the world actually, because all the bird watchers of the world meet together here at Rutland for Bird Fair this year again. And it's a pleasure to have Patricia Zuride here. She's joining us. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
She's the CEO of BirdLife International, and she's involved in so many conservation projects dealing with birds, and so many programs actually that we desperately need for the conservation of our birds. And we would like to talk a little bit about the Northern Bald Ibis project, a project that was joined for 3 years now from our side, from ZEISS. And we are really happy, about it, and it was quite a story of success, because as far as I got the information, that the Northern Bald Ibis could be put back from a critically endangered species now to an endangered species. So we went over the hill, and we are happy that we could support the project together actually with the Prince Albert Foundation. And so that was, I think, a very nice joint project between BirdLife International, having the wings all over the world, and the connection to the local organizations and also to the industry, to ZEISS in that case, and actually also to the Prince Albert Foundation. So I think it was quite a story of success, and I would like to ask you if you could probably point out the most important points in that project, the most critical things that had to be overcome.
Absolutely. No, first of all, thank you, because it was your trust in BirdLife, your trust in us and our work, and your conviction that you can play a role helping these amazing birds. And it's not only about the birds. I mean, birds are just the top of the iceberg. They are representing a huge connection to the rest of the system. So species are just, these little bolts. I mean, you think about the Eiffel Tower in Paris. I mean, every single species is one of the little bolts that is holding everything together. And the more that we can protect them, instead of pulling them out of the system, the better that we're going to maintain the stability of the tower. And so it's been an extraordinary experience working with you guys. It is a fantastic example of how the BirdLife family works together, because we brought Grepom, that is the BirdLife partner in Morocco, SEO, the BirdLife partner in Spain, the RSPB, the BirdLife partner in the UK, the BirdLife team, the secretariat, the team that we coordinate everybody, you guys, the Prince Albert Foundation, but the government of Morocco, together to create this amazing protected area in Susmara and find this amazing population of bald ibis. I mean, there has been a population that has been declining so fast, basically because we have been taking over their habitat. But thanks to your support, the support of the Prince Albert Foundation, the fantastic work of the partners working together and convincing the government that it was important to protect Susmara as a national park, we have been now officially downlisted the bald ibis from critically threatened to now endangered. And it sounds a little bit bad, the downlisting, but it is a fantastic conservation success. So you as ZEISS should be very proud, because you have been a part of the engine making it happen. And it is extraordinary to have you as a species champion.
Thank you. Well, I think it's a very good example, all these organizations working together in harmony. So it's a good example for all the politicians in the world, to work for peace and to work for conservation. We need it desperately.
Absolutely.
And if you look at species conservation today, how does it compare also to the climate discussion that we have? So everybody is behind the climate at the moment, but in one respect, our birds desperately need help on the ground. The climate will affect us at one stage, but species conservation, I think, is urgently needed. There is so many endangered species around the world, and we need desperate actions now to get those pointed out and to get those on the ground.
Absolutely, I mean, I think the problem right now is that the conservation community has not been able to voice the crisis of the loss of nature as effectively as the climate groups. And we don't realize that these two are interlinked, you know?
Yeah.
We have one home. I mean, it's like thinking about your home. Every single species play a role in that home. It's not about taking care of the garden, it's taking care of the whole system. And the more, and right now we have lost 50% of the wild species in the last 60 years. We have 1 in every 8 bird threatened with extinction. We are at a time of a crunch. We really need to take action now. And it is, the loss of a species is not going to enable us to live in this planet because we depend on them. We depend for our food, we depend on them for our water, we depend on them for our stability, our health, everything. And it is interlinked with the climate crisis, you know, because climate is hitting us, yes, climate is changing.
Yes.
But the more stable the system, the better that we're going to be able to survive. The less stable, and I was talking to someone yesterday and it gave me a really good example. It's like the system of species, biodiversity is like a spider web, you know? You start taking some of the strands of that spider web and it becomes really wobbly. And climate is a massive force that is coming, and the more wobbly that web is, the less that we're going to be able to survive. And the problem is that it's going to affect the poorest communities around the world, you know? And we need to make sure that we are building up and strengthening that foundation that is the nature of the planet to make sure that we can resist all these other changes. So absolutely with you, the first and most important and most urgent crisis that the planet is living is the loss of nature.
Yeah, yeah. So how do you see the role of the industry in that respect? I mean, ZEISS is making a contribution, other companies too. So how important do you see these kinds of activities, and also especially when you look at ZEISS?
Well, it's crucial. I mean, we have no other way. I mean, the reality is that without the private sector, we will not make it happen. I mean, this is exactly the model of BirdLife, bringing multiple sectors together to resolve the problems, because alone, the conservation community is not going to be able to make it happen. And you guys have demonstrated, you are a leader in the industry, understanding that you can play a role, that you can be part of the solution, that you can help us enable these solutions to happen. So right now we're at a point where we have to reach out to the rest of the private sector, to the rest of, not only in the optics industry, we have to go beyond, and we have to start getting people in the rest of the private world to understand that nature is their matter, is their home. There's no planet B. We need to make sure that everybody understands that we have a role to play. And little or big, if we work together, it's just like a jigsaw, and we will make it happen like we did with the Bald Ibis. It's just a matter of how do we make it happen and connect each other and have win-wins, you know?
Yeah.
For us was an extraordinary support. I hope that for you guys was a great opportunity to
Absolutely.
showcase how you can do it. So private sector is part of the mix.
Yeah. Thank you. And I mean, it was also a very good example for all the ZEISS employees, because they stood behind the project and they tried to inform themselves within the company what is going on, and they were asking questions. So there was quite a positive response. So
and I want you to be proud of this, you know? I mean, like, for all of the staff of ZEISS, you are making this happen. You are helping us making this happen. So just take that little, you know, bit of pride and showcase it to your friends and your family, and let them know that you were able us to save a species from extinction.
Thank you very much. Maybe one more question. The Species Champion Program, will that proceed in the way that you started it, or will there be any changes? Will you go more for global biodiversity, or what will be the future there?
I think, if anything, so the Species Champions Program is an initiative that BirdLife has with individuals and companies who are interested in protecting a specific threatened species, right? So the support that we receive from Species Champions is absolutely crucial, because it enables us to kickstart things, to get things moving. That traditional funding from, say, foundations or trusts or governments is not necessarily available for those things, and the Species Champions is that more flexible but targeted funding that help us get the wheels in motion to get the species protected. if anything, Species Champion has to grow and get more supporter and still use threatened species as a key entry point, because as I said at the beginning, birds are just the tip of the iceberg that are telling us what's happening. You know, they are truly the canary in the coal mine, telling us the planet is dying, we need to do something about this. And if we target our work towards those species, then we take care of the rest of the system that is supporting them. So Species Champions has to grow. We have to get more species champions around the world to support us and to support our conservation family, but the communities that are behind them. I mean, you saw them in Susmara. I mean, the guardians of the ibises are the local people. I mean, and this is the wonder of the BirdLife family, that we have really our boots on the ground, getting together and engaging that local community, but also the connections to the government, to the global world, to make people understand around, you know, on the other side of the Mediterranean, on the other side of the Atlantic, protecting the ibises is important. We need to protect Morocco. Let's work there. So I think that connectivity enables us to really make sure that we can resolve the problem, and Species Champion is a fantastic entry point for that.
Yeah, and it's a good basis for communication, I think, all around the world.
Absolutely fantastic stories, yes. That wonder people. And I think that one of the things that is crucial about the ibis story is that enables people to understand that it is possible. You know, that there is hope. Yes, we are living a crisis, but there are ways of resolving it. And this is a perfect example. We made it happen.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time, for joining us here at Bird Fair. And hope we have all a good show here. There is still 2 days to go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you for trusting and believing in BirdLife. Thanks so much for all your support, and thanks for helping us spread the word. That's the most important thing right now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.